Right, and we are back. So now we've got the figures out of the box, we're going to do reviewing them, each single figure, and we will talk about their role in the episode. So first I think we'll start with the Necros Dalek, we might as well. So he's white, standard sort of Dalek. He's kind of like an Imperial one, but a bit different I suppose. The only thing different is obviously he's got black plunger, and I don't know, he might have a black eye thing there, and also he's got a black, people call it a skirt, I think it's better as a base, better word for describing it. Now recently there's been a bit of a thing with Forbidden Planet about quality control, and I won't go into all of that because there's been this massive debate on a couple of the Doctor Who forums, the figures, but on my Necros Dalek it's probably the worst one in the set because there's a few things, and I'm not going to return it and, you know, start demanding my money back and everything, but basically what you've got here, you've got a little gold paint mark, which, you know, I can forgive that, that's a simple little mistake, but then it gets a bit worse when in the fact you've got a paint mark there and a bit of chipped sort of paint. That's not bad. But then one of the burst bits is on the gun here. There's a mark, you probably can't really see it on the computer, well there you can see it on the camera there a bit, where obviously the paint's peeled and not been painted. But the worst bit on my Necros Dalek is this horrible line, and I don't know, it looks like a pencil mark, in which case I could probably just rub it out with a rubber, but I don't want to mark and give some horrible splurry thing, or, you know, I don't know, it might just be paint, in which case I don't really want to rub more paint off it. There's a few little, I don't know, gold blobs down there as well. It's a good figure, it looks good, but I think, you know, white is quite a hard colour to paint with, and I think really they've kind of mucked my one up a little bit, but I'm sure there's probably people out there who've got much worse. For all I know, there could be someone who's just got a mould of a figure that's not painted, so I won't complain too much. But that's the Necros Dalek. I'd rate that figure on its own a 8 out of 10. Not bad, but, you know, there's a few production errors on mine, but as a general figure, 8 out of 10, not bad for a standard Dalek. Now, onto the Skaro Dalek. For me it's my first one, a lot of people have got them, but obviously that's always good for army building and stuff. The figure on this one is pretty good. I think it's a re-release figure, but it looks pretty cool. I've just noticed something there in fact which is a bit of an error, but we'll go through it anyway. Nice details, same as the Necros Dalek or any other Dalek from that era in fact. Plunger's a bit loose, but that's cool, I'm not going to mess around that. The gun, what's good on this one is that there's a bit of, you can't really see it there, there's a bit of a, obviously where they hadn't sprayed it, but on this figure, unlike the Necros Dalek, they actually went back and resprayed it. So though you can see it, it's good that they at least, you know, did the attention to detail on that. The base here is a bit loose. I don't really know if that's supposed to happen. I don't think it is actually going around, but I'm not going to complain about that again. I don't really matter about stuff like that. And there's a little mark there, but, you know, that's not a bad figure, and I quite like it. And the only other classic Dalek I've got to compare it to is my Supreme Dalek from Day of the Daleks, and I don't know, they go pretty well together. You could probably get away putting them in the same episode, bit dusty, but yeah, it looks good, the Skaro Dalek, so I'd rate that actually 9 out of 10. Not the best frig in the world, a few little errors, but a lot better than the Necros Dalek in terms of detail and, you know, painting and everything, and I really like that. It may be a re-release, but my first one, so I'm not going to complain about that. Next we have Davros. He's probably the main centerpiece of this set. Now obviously with him you've got a load of nice detail on wires and stuff all around his head. His head doesn't move because he's got this blue thing stuck into it, but I know it can twist a little bit. He's got his little intercom thing here. There's a few little tweaks and paint marks on the thing underneath his chair. That you've got a lot of detail there, which is really nice. And like the only other Davros I've got to compare it to, not a classic one which is a bit cheapo, sorry, but a new series Davros. Comparing the detail on the two, I'd say this one's more detailed, but then again, having said that, this Davros is from the classic era and it's a much more cool Davros. I'd rather have this one out of the two. A few little marks there, and also there's a bit of, this is probably going to come flying out at me, but if you press this orb here on his body, it'll come flying out. Yep, there you go, that's gone. There's like a little sort of, I don't know, a panel where all the wiring for his chair is, which is pretty neat. Very good detail in there. That's a very nice attention to detail, and it's on a spring, so you've got that there. You can just put that back on and do it now. But the other problem, the only thing that I've actually had a query with this, is that his hand was there, and when I was pulling it out to get a look at it, Forbidden Planet have sprayed his hand on that bit and it's black there, but then you're a bit skinny and you're probably thinking, oh, what's happened there? You can't see it really, but in there is the pink paint from it, and it's a bit stupid spraying though, because it's obviously going to peel off if you try and yank it out, which is the only way you can actually really get the hand out of there. So a bit of a dumb move on their part, but still I'm not really going to have a go at them or anything. Next you have the severed hand, or in fact I'll look at the hand, sorry. Well, it's just a standard hand, which is cool. It's quite a nice detail and a very nice painting. This is just like a bit of white plastic with green paint, and you can tell it's like a bit fakey, it doesn't look that good, but obviously on its own it's not really an accessory. But if you slot it into Davros's hand, probably the paint will peel off here. If I can slot it in, that is. Go on. Just give it a little bit of a persuading. There you go. There is Davros's destroyed hand from when some guy shot him when he was about to press a button, consequently meaning Davros can no longer press it. To me it just looks like a bit of white cloth that's been wrapped around his limb and then painted green. I don't know if it's supposed to be completely green. In fact it may be, I don't know really, looking at the box. No, there isn't a picture of that, but I don't know really. I'm sure it's supposed to be like that, but it looks pretty good. Davros on the whole, with all of his little panels and his hands and everything, although a bit of a stupid flaw on their part with the hand on that bit. I quite like Davros, he's my favourite figure on the whole set, and I would rate him a 10 out of 10. Nice figure, a few little tweaks, you know, stupid things they put on it, but not bad, very nice figure, and I would say that he is, yeah, the best one in the set. The main piece, and the, you know, the piece de resistance of the set. Now we have the last figure, the Sixth Doctor himself, Colin Baker, in his Necros morning gown. So we'll review the figure just on its own. Obviously in the morning gown his arms can't actually move because it goes over that and it's solid plastic, so consequently you can't, which is a bit cop out, but it's not bad. The painting on it is, on the Necros gown, is pretty nice, and you can take it off of his neck by doing this. Peel it away, and then you just slide the Sixth Doctor figure out, and I'll review the Sixth Doctor in a second, but first we'll do his morning gown. Very nice painting on there. It's a lot of attention to detail, like the gold and everything on there. It just looks really nice. The only thing that's a bit weird is it says PVC, which is the plastic it's made of, which I don't really know why that needs to be there. It's a bit weird to have it, but yeah, that's nice. The gown, I won't really rate that. I'll rate it as a whole figure with 6 himself. But here's Colin Baker's figure. I've never had really any classic Doctors before. This is my first classic. I hope to have, like, I don't know, if it's child and everything. Very, very nice detail on him. You know, the coat and everything. I thought it was going to be a bit mucked up, but they've spent a lot of time obviously making the sculpt for this figure. You know, painting everything. Really looks nice. The attention to detail is wonderful. I thought here at first it looked like there'd been a bit of a weird painting thing in production gone wrong, but in actual fact I think it's weathering. It may not be, but it still looks like weathering, which is pretty good, so I'm not going to try and get rid of that or touch it up. His head, his hair detail, everything on that figure just looks great. And the other thing is that obviously the Necros gown does, like, there, stand on its own, so you don't need to sort of, you know, be careful displaying it. But I will display him wearing his gown. If I can just slot him back in, because obviously that is how he is displayed, so you can display that. As a figure with his morning gown, I would rate this figure 10 out of 10. Lovely figure, lovely detail and everything, definitely worth it. You also get in the set this cool little backing card here, which shows a well, the scene in Davros's main room where he's on the white computer. And a lot of people complained about us not getting a glass Dalek. They said, oh well, we should have got that instead of Scarra Daleks and whatnot, which only appeared for a couple of seconds. But in fact we did get a glass Dalek, so they can all be quiet, because we did get one. You see it there? Yeah, they gave us a 2D one, which, yeah, it's a bit of a, well, I won't swear on this, but it is a bit of a pee take. And also then you can put your figures on here, display them like this, so then you have yourself a very nice little display background. This is how it shall be displayed on my shelf, and you can see it all like so. Anyway, thank you very much for watching my figure review. I hope you enjoyed it and had good fun as much as I did. I'm now going to go display these on my shelf with all my other figures. So cheers for watching, and please subscribe for more. Comment, rate, all of that stuff. Cheers guys, Dalek 1 and 1 out.